The middleweight division. The middleweight division. Yeah, it is also dying. What am I talking about? The UFC is all about marketing. The UFC is all about the fighters selling the fight. The UFC is all about them promoting the fight. They are in position. They are in position to promote the fights and to give fans a great fight. We didn't see John Jones versus Francis Ngannou. In the middleweight division, what had happened was you have a so-called South African who actually earned his title shot, which he is getting it 20th of January 2024. Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis. And is it gonna be one hell of a fight? Some drama just took place, but we're gonna get into that. Let's rewind a little bit and let's take how we got here. Yeah. So you got Israel Adesanya, who was dominating. The middleweight division for the longest time. Fast forward 2023, he fights Alex Pereira twice. He wins one, he loses one. In the UFC. I am talking about in the UFC. What had happened in the present, for now, it is not relevant. It is not relevant at the moment because the scores need to be settled. They still need to fight for the third time to decide their fate, in their legacy. Both Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya. So Israel Adesanya had dominated the middleweight division for the longest time. He fights Alex Pereira. He takes his first L in the middleweight division. The only person to beat Israel Adesanya in the middleweight division. People were not thinking about that. Israel Adesanya was undefeated when he fought Alex Pereira in the middleweight division. And then, fast forward, he loses by TKO. They call it a knockout. Whatever. Fucking whatever. I am still yet to do my research on the pay-per-view numbers for that fight. Both fights. And now we're talking about, fast forward a couple of months later, Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya 2. The fight takes place. The fight was amazing. Alex Pereira does what he does best. He knows Israel Adesanya better than anyone in the UFC. He hurts him with those leg kicks. And guess what? He slips up. He gets knocked the fuck out against the cage. And Israel Adesanya gives Alex Pereira his first loss in the UFC. And his first loss in the middleweight division. You see the storyline there? You see the storyline between these? And you see why I'm saying before the video, scores need to be settled. Because now they're fighting in the big league. Now they're fighting in the machine. And the machine has a potential to make these fights bigger. They can even make a fourth fight. But we're talking about the middleweight division, and Alex Pereira is a light heavyweight champion. As Israel Adesanya regains his throne And what happens next? He fights Sean Strickland on short notice. Uh, which the original match that was scheduled was supposed to be Israel Adesanya versus Dricus Du Plessis. Dricus Du Plessis fought Winnick, Winnaker, and Winnaker lost to Dricus, and Dricus was guaranteed a title shot. He pulled out the fight, saying he pulled out the fight because he got hurt. So he doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to fight not at 100%. When he's not at 100%. When he's not at his best, he decides to pull out the fight. They give Sean Strickland the opportunity to become champion, and Sean Strickland shocks the fucking world. Sean Strickland shocks the fucking world. He beats Israel Adesanya by decision. He drops Israel Adesanya in the first round. Israel Adesanya in the first round, and that's where the story ends in the middleweight division. Now everybody's in love with Sean Strickland. Everybody loves Sean Strickland now. Everybody loves Sean Strickland. He's the people's champ. But he doesn't give a fuck about the belt. He gives a fuck about him getting paid. Now, let's talk about the scandal that happened after UFC. Let me say during the fight. Let me say during the fights in UFC 296, Sean Strickland attacks Dricus Du Plessis. Obviously, Sean Strickland, he wants to get paid, bro. He wants to make that fight big. Obviously, the press conference, Dricus Du Plessis was getting fucking shots from Sean Strickland, and Dricus Du Plessis also fucking, does his best to sell the fight. Talks about Sean Strickland's past and how Sean Strickland didn't have a great upbringing, and he got mad from there. Fast forward to UFC 296. Sean Strickland is sitting front row, and Dricus Du Plessis is sitting right behind him in the front row. And guess what? They give him the shot, and after when they give him the shot, what happened is Sean Strickland attacks Dricus Du Plessis, and he fucking punched that motherfucker. He punched him behind the head. Thankfully, he was not hurt, but he got kicked out the event. They're trying to sell the fight. Sean Strickland wants to get paid. Sean Strickland wants to get paid. That's why he did what he did. But at the same time, he was angered about what Dricus Du Plessis said about his past. A lot of people didn't notice that in the 2024 season of the press conference. And that's how the story ends. Remember, take care of your fucking body. It's the only fucking place that you live in, bro. Mouth. The middleweight division. Yeah. It is also dying. What am I talking about? The UFC is all about marketing.